Good morning. We'll call this meeting to order, this work session. Good morning and welcome to the citizens of Douglas County. This September 4th, 2024 work session of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners will come to order. Roll call. Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Yes, ma'am. We have District 1 Commissioner Henry Mitchell III. I believe he is absent. District 2 Commissioner Whitney Kenner Jones.
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Martin Raxton.
Present.
District 4 Vice Chair Mark Alcaraz.
Present.
Chairman Dr. Ramona Jackson Jones.
Present. Thank you so much, Clerk. Board of Commissioners, we have certainly the agenda adoption. Commissioners, we have an amendment to the agenda to add an item for the Sheriff's Office this morning, and this authorization for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to renew an agreement with the Central Square Technologies in the amount of $69,895 to be funded through the Sheriff's Office budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Certainly, do we have a motion to approve the amended agenda, Board?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board? We have a motion and a second. Please indicate by raising your right hand if you agree. We have a 4-0 vote and the motion carries. Thank you so much, Board. Time limits, Board of Commissioners, as a reminder, please remember you have 3 minutes to make remarks and 2 minutes for rebuttal. Clerk, do we have anyone sign up for public comment this morning?
Yes, ma'am, we did. We had 2 individuals. Before I call you up, I will just remind you, you have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your 3 minutes are up, we'll ask you to wrap up your comments. When you reach the podium, please speak directly into the mic and state your name and address for the record. Our first individual that signed up is former Commissioner Kelly Robinson.
There you go.
Got it. Good morning,
Good morning.
Madam Chair.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
My name is Kelly Robinson, 2580 Summer Lake Road, Lithia Springs, Georgia, 30122. I'll be quick and to the point. You got this, Madam Chair. Yes. What you had to experience, what you had to go through, I'll say it for you. No, nobody should ever have to go through that. Just to watch our system move on itself. It was heartbreaking to witness this, to get to the place I'm like, and I'm looking at it like, okay, them two ain't conspired. That ain't how that went down. And to watch it, it just broke my heart. But for you to get through it, I won't belabor it. You did well. Now lead us. You got this. Check your administration. You've been gone for 18 months. You need to watch it. Get into it. Know what didn't happen in 18 months. It's yours now. I couldn't be here. You know, we passed in the night, and it's all good. My era is over, but you carry forward. Nothing I got done was without you. Now you carry this thing forward, and you lead us. You got this. You have nothing to prove. Finish it. Finish it. To my colleague Henry's not here, he would get the same comments. You guys lead this. You got some 2 newcomers. They got this. Alcaraz, y'all got this. Act like a board. Do well. Lead. Do not let the administration deal you your hand. You give oversight. You give permission. That's all I got to say. Welcome back, Madam Chair. You got this. I'm very proud of this moment. Carry forward. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
guys.
so much, Commissioner.
Thank you. Our next individual, former Commissioner Ricky Dobbs.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
I just wanted to take this time to come up here first to thank all the constituents and the citizens of Douglas County for having just a little faith in me while the governor appointed me to stand in y'all absence, and also congratulations to have all that put behind you and be able to move forward without anything on your shoulders or any kind of stench of what was suspected. or accused as well. But I want to thank everybody for the opportunity. It was definitely an experience, something that I learned from and was able to grow. And I thank the community for growing with me. Thank the administration, the clerks, and the county administrator, the county attorney, the old and the new assistant county administrator, and then my fellow commissioners. It was definitely a time and definitely built some bonds that will never be broken. And I learned a lot about local government and being able to step into another role that I have always wanted to do as a dream as a kid. And having the opportunity to be able to do this for the area that I grew up in was, definitely priceless. It was definitely God sent, and it was something that I don't take lightly. And as I move forward in some way, shape, or form, I will be back in some type of local government, because that was what I said as a child, that I was going to start back in Douglas County before I run for president in 2040. So, and a lot of that stuff I mean. And then now, a couple of things that I just wanted to put out there that I was kind of working on at the end, and hopefully my fellow and former commissioners, everybody can adopt, is one, having the experience as a district commissioner who worked a full-time job. One of the things that I expressed and I thought that was definitely possible and definitely needed is having the legislative aides be on a full-time pay with the benefits because of the work that they do. And I think that should be something that each commissioner should definitely have the right to decide as far as their caseload from their district and also the caseload from their actual jobs. Now, everybody's not fortunate to have the opportunity to be able to, whether it's to own your business or have a job that will give you the leeway and the bandwidth to answer all your citizens. But I was fortunate enough to have a great legislative aide in Sherelle Penniman, who was there to answer every call that everybody would ever call us, email in the middle of the night. While I was overseas, she was standing in doing a whole lot. So that is something that I definitely wanted to push forward, and hopefully that can come back down the pipe. And then the next thing is community. I was big on community, so whatever we got to do to get back right with getting funds to the CSB, so we can fund, whether it be individually, not through the CSB or with the CSB, feel like we can figure something out right there to get things back on track to help folks in our community. Because it's us or you all as commissioners are in the forefront to be able to do what's best for our community. And I think we should keep that at the forefront, and I think we'll be all right. So congratulations and good luck to you all. I'll be watching. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There were no more.
Okay, thank you so much, both former Commissioner Robinson and also former Commissioner Dobbs. Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, point of privilege this morning. I am certainly full and filled with joy this morning. If you all will allow me just to have a few words, Board. It is such a pleasure to return to my duly elected office. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for giving me the grace while standing on unwavering innocence, facts, and truth as I survived one of the most unprecedented, unjustified crucibles of a lifetime. My tested faith is my testimony. And certainly, in the words of Winston Churchill, courage is a decision and fear is a reaction. And I've gone from overwhelmed to an overcomer. Certainly I could be bitter, but nevertheless I have become better at forgiving those who know not what they do, because what was meant for evil, God has made good. By all measures, my leadership, my strength, my courage, and resilience defied the odds, and history will write my story. And more importantly, I hope I inspired others to stand unmoved on unwavering truth when falsely accused of something that you did not do. Because when you stand, greatness is on the other side of pain. To my wonderful parents, I owe you the deepest gratitude for embedding the principles of integrity, honesty, and moral character within me. Certainly, I must extend heartfelt appreciation to my courageous daughter, my sensational sister, and my Mississippi preacher brother for standing with me, standing beside me, and standing up for me. Certainly, I would like to publicly thank defense attorneys Christy Draper and Travis Glahn and their legal assistant, Katie Draper, for going the distance and winning the fight against the state of Georgia to prove my innocence. I would be remiss not to thank the Honorable former Sheriff Phil Miller for serving as chairman on my behalf, and Honorable Ricky Dobbs for serving as District 1 Commissioner on behalf of Commissioner Henry Mitchell III for 16 grueling long months. Thank you all. Please allow me to extend sincere thanks to Vice Chairman Alcarez, District 2 Commissioner Kenner Jones, District 3 Commissioner Martin Raxton, constitutional officers, elected officials, appointed officials, County Administrator Dr. David Corbin, Executive Cabinet members, Douglas County government employees, clergymen, my fellow veterans, my colleagues, friends, and most importantly, to all Douglas County citizens whom I serve and work tirelessly to advocate for your needs with ultimate dignity, fairness, transparency, respect, and humility for the betterment of the place we call home. As I close out my remarks, I am optimistic that our best days are ahead, and our possibilities gives us the potential to pursue happiness, peace, and prosperity as one Douglas, and we are better together. I am deeply touched and humbled by the outpouring of all the prayers, your patience, and unwavering support during a time such as this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Board of Commissioners. Thank you. Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, we'll dive right into our meeting, if that's okay with you. We have a presentation this morning, and the presentation will be rendered by Rob LeBeau from ARC to present WorkSource Atlanta Regional. He will provide a WorkSource Atlanta Regional update. We are pleased to have you here, Mr. LeBeau. You have the floor, Rob.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time to talk about ARC and what we do, particularly with the Workforce Solutions Department at ARC. I'm going to walk through a presentation here. I do apologize I didn't send it in advance, but I will send it to the clerk to make sure that you have it in your minutes and you can look at it at another time. Let's see, let me get the right button here. So just a quick reminder, Atlanta Regional Commission. Our vision, you can see our vision, mission, goals. Our vision is one great region. As the ARC, we have multiple roles in Metro Atlanta. We are your Council of Governments and your regional planning agency. We have multiple functions depending on the different federal and state authorities that we have. For example, we are your metropolitan planning organization doing transportation planning for a 20-county area. We are your economic development district. We are your area agency on aging. We do community development and economic development and offer programs like the Livable Centers Initiative. But what I'm here to talk about is we also serve as your local workforce development agency, what is also known as WorkSource Atlanta Regional. And I'm going to talk a little bit about workforce and where we are in the state of the economy. So first off, when you think about metropolitan Atlanta, we're talking about the metro area. If you look at the growth we have seen over the last 20 years, it is really astounding. When you look at it, we are the second or the third highest growing metropolitan area in the United States. We added over 2 million people just behind Dallas and Houston. And that puts us number 6 in the country for total population in the metro area. You can see that, of course, we're behind New York and Los Angeles, and Chicago and Dallas and Houston, but then we are right there, number 6, along with a couple other metro areas. So we have grown in population and we have grown in economy. If you look at the forecast, when we look out to 2050, we will continue to grow. We're currently at about 6 million people, and we're going to grow to just under 8 million people in 2050. That is the top blue line. The bottom line are jobs. So that gold line, you can see that we will continue to grow in jobs as well, but not quite at the same rate. as with our population. And that has several factors. One of them, of course, is we have a vastly aging population. That is our largest segment that is growing within Metro Atlanta. So we're going to have more people here, and actually more people who aren't working because they will be our older citizens. But when you think about growth, it is really interesting to consider that there are really only two ways a region grows. It is by natural increase, that's the number of kids that are being born in your area, and it is by in-migration, the people that are moving into your community. So in the past, you can see the top yellow bar, that is in-migration. This is for Metro Atlanta. And the blue bottom is natural increase. So in the past, we were having more kids here. That is how we were growing. But it's an actual global phenomenon, is that many of the developed countries are having fewer children. Actually, we are below replacement rate now in the United States. So we are not having, our two parents are not having two kids on average. And so in Metro Atlanta, we are going to grow less by natural increase and much more by in-migration. So we will be attracting more people to come to Atlanta from across the country and across the world. Where's that growth going? Metro Atlanta. There is some down on the coast you can see, down by St. Simons and Savannah, but really Metro Atlanta is the area where we are going to grow the most within the state of Georgia. And you can see Douglas County is one of those high growth areas within Metro Atlanta. The economy continues to grow in Metro Atlanta. You can see that the bottom line is the U.S., that orange line is the U.S. growth over the last 20 years. Of course, we all had a big dip during COVID, but then Metro Atlanta recovered really quickly, as well as you saw the country has moved up, but we continue to grow at a faster pace than the national average from the economic standpoint. And then one last piece of data I want to look at before I talk more about workforce development is we look at unemployment rate and labor force participation rate. So in the state of Georgia, our unemployment rate last year was 3.2%, all of last year. Beginning of this year, we dropped down to 3.1%, and we've now gone up to 3.4%. That is still lower than the national average. Georgia has always been about 1% behind the national average, so we've had a lower unemployment rate. But the other thing we look at is labor force participation rate. That is the amount of people who are 18 and above who are actually either actively working or actively looking for a job. That is your labor force participation rate. So in Georgia, our labor force participation rate has been lower than the national average, which is one of the reasons why a lot of our employers have struggled to fill jobs, is because we have fewer people in the actual labor force than the national average. And that is a phenomenon that came out after the COVID pandemic. We have been struggling to get more people who have left the labor force to come back into the labor force. But I will point out on this next slide, it's interesting that Douglas County is a little bit different. So you look at the top, this is your unemployment rate within the county. Below the national average, although in 2024 it's actually jumped up to 4.22. So it's higher than the Georgia average, but right at the national average for unemployment rate. But look at the Douglas County labor force participation rate. Even before the pandemic, it was higher than the national average, and it has continued to grow. So you do have the people who are in the working age is actually, you have a higher percentage is actually working or looking for work. So where are the jobs in Douglas County? You can see it's actually a really good mix of a lot of different industries, but retail trade is your highest sector. You can see that at about 8,500 workers in retail trade, closely followed by transportation and warehousing, and then administrative support. And then the sectors that have the highest paying jobs, you see them there as information, utilities, and wholesale trade. Talking about jobs, who is doing the hiring? If you look at all of 2023, you see that there were about 11,800 job postings in Douglas County in 2023. And who was doing most of the hiring? Wellstar Health, Randstad, Walmart, Gordon Foods, and Cox Communications. And the top occupations aligns actually very closely with that. You can see registered nurse, retail sales, laborers, and so forth. Average of $20 an hour is the average pay of those 11,000 job postings. So that's some economic data, and I will send to the clerk both this presentation as well as some economic reports that we run that I pulled this data from, so that you will have all that. It really does some in-depth analysis into the economy of Douglas County. That is a service that we provide at the Atlanta Regional Commission, because we have what I would say is probably one of the best, if not the best, research departments within in the country for a regional area, a regional commission. So, but I'm going to talk about workforce development. I'm not going to read all that, but what's important to look at is that first paragraph is workforce development is a process to enhance and improve the skills, knowledge, and abilities of the workforce. But more than just that, generally, what we want to really do is look at the skills and competencies to meet the current and future demands of the local employers. So we're not just trying to train somebody to train them in any type of skill. We want to make sure we're training them on skills that are being hired in the metro area today so that they are going to get a job and they're going to have a sustainable job and have a living wage. So as your local workforce development board, we implement the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. This is the federal legislation that funds and oversees the work that we do. It was approved in 2014. It was supposed to be reauthorized in 2020. That has not happened yet, but there are 2 bills that have been released in both the House and the Senate, so we're hopeful that the reauthorization will occur. We are still operating under the original law that was approved in 2014. How does implementation occur? So the WIOA creates a series of local workforce development areas across the state. The numbering's a little bit off. There are 17 workforce areas across the state. Those are all those colored areas that you see looking at it on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you see in Metro Atlanta, there are 5 separate workforce boards. There's a workforce board in the city of Atlanta, Fulton County, Cobb County, and DeKalb County. You see those different colorings. And then the 7 blue is the workforce board that I oversee, WorkSource Atlanta Regional, including Douglas County. The leadership, there's really 2 types of leadership. There's the LEO board, which is the local elected officials. So as described in the federal law, the workforce services are overseen by a board that is comprised of the chairman of each of the 7 counties and 1 mayor of those 7 counties. They are considered the LEO board, and they elect a CLEO, a chief local elected official, who at this time is Chairman Turner out of Clayton County. And then they oversee and they have the fiduciary responsibility for what happens for all those workforce funds that come down to our area. But one of the most important things that the LEO and the CLEO board does is appoint a local workforce development board, and they provide the ongoing support. They meet 5 times a year and direct how these funds are spent within the 7 counties and all the services that we provide. That local workforce development board is comprised of at least 51% private sector individuals, and then the remaining, you see there are some other representatives that include adult ed, higher education, economic development, and so forth. For Douglas County, there are 2 appointees. The actual co-chairman of the local workforce board is Sarah Ray, president of your Douglas County Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if Sarah said she might have stopped by, but I don't see her here. And then you also have an appointee, Jamal Jesse with Georgia Power has also been appointed chairman. I believe you appointed him a couple of years ago.
I did.
So those are your 2 representatives that are serving on the local workforce development board. Service delivery. So what does this mean? So we really have 2 customers that we work with. We have job seekers and we have employers. Those are the 2 customers we work with. And so the local workforce development board serves those 2 people in a couple different categories. But the way we do this is we have a series of career resource centers across our 7 counties. In Douglas County, the Career Resource Center is currently at the building, which actually you now own, right across from West Georgia Tech. So my understanding is the county is purchasing that, and we're going to be moving out and finding a new location. But it will be somewhere in Douglas County, and we're working on something. We'll have something hopefully very shortly that we can report back to you. And that is a location where we provide walk-in services. So any resident can walk in and get basic services, no qualifications needed. You just walk in, you can use the computer lab, you can learn how to write a resume, you can do a job search, you can fill out some forms for the Department of Labor and other forms. Anybody can do that. We have counselors there, career resource counselors, that can meet with people and talk to them about the next steps. And then depending on if they qualify for additional services, then they can get one-on-one career counseling. And the important things that we do is for those that qualify, what makes stand out is we then will give you some assessments, find out where your skills, where your interests, and then identify the types of jobs that are available in Metro Atlanta that you would be most suited for, and then we can actually pay for you to go get a credential. So if it says that you'd be a great welder, we can then pay for you to go get a welding credential. No cost to the customer at all. We have about 100 different providers on a whole range of different jobs. But again, you go back to my first statement, we don't just train people for any type of skill, we train them for skills that are being hired in Metro Atlanta right now. We also do youth services at that location, so out-of-school youth between the ages of 16 and 24 can come in and they can get hooked up with our youth services. Typically, we would help them get their GED or go back, get enrolled in a technical college or get work experience or get employment. So those two services are provided as a walk-in at that location. The other thing we do is with our employers is that we have staff that go around and meet with your local employers and try and find out what are their local workforce needs, how can we help them. We have two primary, these are our adult and dislocated worker and youth services. Again, I'm not going to read them, you will have that. All customers can go to atlworks.org. That is a regional website to start the process of understanding what we offer as a workforce board. And then with employers, we offer a series of work-based learning programs. The two primary ones is on-the-job training and incumbent worker training. So if somebody comes, we work with an employer, they need help hiring somebody, we can actually get them hired. We can help identify a person that qualifies, and then we will pay for that salary for up to half of that salary for up to 6 months. Or on the other hand, we do incumbent worker training. So say you have a manufacturer that has a new piece of equipment, we can pay for 50% of the training cost to train current employees how to upgrade their skills to stay competitive and advance within that position. So those are the two types of services that we offer to the two types of customers. So last year, who do we serve in Douglas County? You can see that we served adults and dislocated workers. That's the top career services at our career centers, over 7,000 people. 1,800 people actually walked into that location. 5,500 people were virtually served through emails, phone calls, and so forth. And then we had 9 people who actually were fully enrolled and went to training. I'd like to see that 9 go up. You can see how that compares to the other 7 counties. You had a lot of people coming in, but unfortunately not a lot of people taking up the training services that we offered. And then Next Gen, which is our youth services, you can see there 83 customers served and 7 new youth enrolled last year. And then the employers, you can see on the bottom, 25 employers engaged with the types of services that we offer. And I'm going to end with a reminder that these numbers are great, but it really is about the people. It is about the businesses in your county that we are serving. So a couple of examples of the types of customers we have. This is focusing on our business services program. We worked with Medline Industries. We've been working with them since 2016, and actually 2017, they were our employer of the year. They've had 10 different on-the-job participants come through, and we've trained 28 people through incumbent worker training for Medline. And then you can see under there, we also have on-the-job training contracts with both Gordon Food and Carter Landscaping, and we're working with them to actively fill those positions. So, Madam Chair, Commissioners, that ends my presentation. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. And like I said, I'll send the presentation to the clerk so that you can have this in your hard copies in your file.
Thank you so much, Mr. LeBeau. Board of Commissioners, do we have any questions?
I do have a couple, Madam Chair.
Yeah, likewise.
Commissioner Kenner Jones, you have the floor.
Thank you. You mentioned that we had, if you could go back to the slide about the number of participants that we had that started in the program, but we only had 9 finished. Have we done any research on what the barriers were to those individuals completing?
Right, and let me clarify that. That doesn't mean that only 9 finished. What it means is that there were 7,000 customer interactions. This doesn't say how many applications we actually received. Many of those interactions may have been existing customers that were coming back and doing counseling and so forth. It was 9 new participants enrolled. I don't have that answer for you, but I will look into it more to see how many applications we actually had and see if there's a big drop off on that number of applications, or is the barrier that we're just not getting applications to begin with. We do an outreach program to try and let people know where we're at. We work it through social media, primarily through Meta, through Instagram and Facebook. We also have some ads that come up on Google and others. But I'd be glad to work with you all on other ways we can reach out to your citizens. I know in the past, Chairman, we've spoken with your communications staff here on doing something on the TV or the outreach or whatever. But we would be glad to get back and refresh that outreach in the county.
Yes.
And at the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned that these were all individuals over 18. Are you including people that are under 18? And I ask that specifically because Georgia does not have compulsory education past 16. So we have individuals who may be getting GEDs or decide not to do high school at all that may benefit from these programs.
Right, so we serve, so the adults we serve, so there's different categories, are 18 and above, but if they're 16 to 24, we can serve them in our youth program. So yes, they can get services from us, and they can go into training and get credentials if they're 16.
And so is that the workforce development age minimum is 16?
Yes, it is, for us, yeah.
Okay.
The federal is 14, but we, in the state of Georgia, we focus on 16 and above.
And if an individual that has a work permit that's 15 came, would you be able to service them, or is there another resource that you would refer them to?
We would have to refer them out, yeah, because we serve 16 and above, yeah.
I have nothing further, Madam Chair. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So can you go back to the chart with the pie chart where you talked about the percentage of the workforce in the various jobs there?
Yes.
Do you have something similar that shows the Douglas County residents and where they are and how they fit in, what those percentages will look like for Douglas County residents?
Right, yeah, I can get that for you. You're right, this is the jobs in Douglas County, which, as you know, many of them are going to be people who come into Douglas County, right?
Right.
So you want to know the types of occupations that the people who live in Douglas County hold.
Yes.
We can do that research for you. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I would like to see something similar to that in this same format of
Right.
Douglas County residents, so
Right.
that would be great. My
And-
second,
Oh, I'm sorry, and I would suspect, and I believe you're going to have a higher proportion of residents that leave the county for work than actually stay in the
exactly,
county.
exactly, and that is a concern that I have.
Yeah, right.
Definitely have. My second question is, in regards to, you talked about working with us in regards to marketing and branding.
Yes.
How do you, or what is your current marketing strategy, and how is this shared and communicated out to the residents here in Douglas County?
Right. So a couple things. So we do have a contract with a marketing company called Rocket Camp, and we work with them on several different activities. The first thing I'll say is the website atlworks.org is our common landing page. So that is the homepage that we direct all of our outreach. We send people to atlworks.org. And what that'll do is, and that's for anybody in the 10-county area, we have basic information of what is workforce development, what services are available, and then if you put in your address, it will tell you exactly where the closest career resource center is, who to contact, and if you say you want more information, it actually sends an email to one of our career counselors who will then get back with that person. So the outreach that we do is, as I mentioned, primarily through social media, Instagram, Facebook, as well as we have some ads that pop up. If you're doing a Google search, for example, it'll know there's some geolocation. So if you're in Douglas County and you type in that you're looking for a job in Google, you'll get our ad that says, WorkSource Atlanta Regional, come talk to us. But we have to be, it's very expensive to do social media, to do that type of outreach. So we pulse it throughout the year. We don't do it consistently. We'll do like 6 weeks, take a couple months off, 6 weeks and so forth. And then we have, a lot of it is word of mouth. We have flyers that we hand out, but we talk with many partners across the region about what we offer, and we try to get the word out through word of mouth. But we do rely a lot on our local partners as well. So, as much as the county and other organizations in Douglas County can help us spread the word, it would really be a benefit to us. One other thing that we do offer is a mobile career lab. And so it is a big RV, 30 feet long, has 10 workstations in it. It functions just like somebody who walks into our brick and mortar site. It functions the same thing, and it goes to different libraries across the region. It does go to a couple libraries here in the county. At one point, we were actually coming out front here, and we weren't getting a lot of participants coming in. We can relook at that, whether there's a better day, we can come and park here for a few hours. But that is a great advertising, because on the outside of it, it is painted, WorkSource Atlanta Regional. It has all of our information on it. So that acts as an outreach program as well.
Okay. And I was just curious, have you partnered with any of the school systems?
We do partner with the schools, and actually we worked with the Development Authority and the schools. Right before COVID, we did some work with graduating seniors to get them work experience and some training, particularly those that weren't going to college. We can certainly look at that again. We had to pause that because of COVID, but we worked with Breezy Stratton at your Development Authority. on that program. We'd be glad to get back and look at that as well.
All right, very good. Madam Chair, I have no more questions. I yield the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Braxton. Vice Chairman Alvarez, I believe you have a question.
You've answered actually a lot of my questions that I was thinking of, but also, have we looked at possibly, with DFACS and everything that they deal with in regards to providing assistance for those who cannot find a job? I know a lot of those come over there to go for OFI and get assistance, but they say they have a hard time finding a job, not only that, getting the training for
Right.
those experiences. Have we looked at maybe partnering with them?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up. The manager of our career resources has just recently made contact with all the DFACS locations within our service area and is starting a program to work with them directly on our services. So yeah, you're right, that is a population that we need to focus more attention on and could really benefit from our services. And in addition to that, we've been working with the Accountability Court on services as well and helping people get trained and into jobs from that. So we are looking at those different ways we could work with county level services.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Vice Chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate it.
Mr. LeBeau. Thank you. All right, Board of Commissioners, we're going to move on to the approval of our minutes. Next on our agenda is the meeting minutes. Commissioners, please review those minutes before tomorrow's meeting. Proclamations, Board of Commissioners, we have 3 that will be presented tomorrow, proclaiming the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2024 as Constitution Week. And then proclamation number 2 would be proclaiming September 22nd, 2024 as American Business Women's Day. And proclamation number 3 will be proclaiming the month of September 2024 as Recovery Month. So those proclamations, Board of Commissioners, will be coming before us tomorrow. We will move into our agenda items. We will now begin with our agenda items. Clerk, please begin with the first agenda item.
Yes, ma'am. We have grants. Number 8 is authorization to accept the Byrne Discretionary Community Project Grant Award from the Bureau of Justice Assistance in the amount of $95,000 with no county match and amend the budget. Authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Laura Thompson.
Good morning, everyone. We have been granted the opportunity to receive a congressional grant from the Senator Warnock's office. The Byrne Discretionary Community Project Grant Award in the amount of $95,000 for 2 years. The grant period is October the 1st of 2024 through 9/30 of 2026 with no match. Here to explain the details of the grant are Deputy Chief Assistant District Attorney Ebony Phillips and District Attorney Daguerre Singh.
Good morning. Good morning. Just very briefly, I wanted to just offer an overview of our pretrial diversion programs, which is where we anticipate utilizing the funds. Our office operates pretrial diversion programming for nonviolent offenders who are willing to make a step to redirect and get on the right track. And in that, we have basically 2 main tracks. A track for folks that are 17 to 24 years old, and then for 25 and up, we have some other ancillary tracks, but that's a more nuanced conversation. The main point being is that our pretrial diversion programs focus on offender accountability. They focus on imparting life skills to our participants, and they focus on making our victims whole. And so we have engaged numerous community partners so that we're able to offer modules for career readiness and employability, professionalism and workplace etiquette, financial literacy, social, emotional, and mental well-being, and values clarification, conflict resolution, and decision-making. We also have partners who assist with free GED classes, as well as free training for apprenticeships, and then also second chance employment. And then we also have a partner who's coming online for financial achievement challenges so that the participants can put the skills that they're learning into actual use. And so this funding is an opportunity for us to enhance the services that we already offer. That one of the main categories that we've identified is tuition assistance, because after someone goes through the program and we've imparted all these skills, they're excited about what's next, what their future can hold, and some of them will want to do higher ed type of education, licensures, or even certificates. And so we are in a position to partner with West Georgia Tech, with Troy University, as well as Chattahoochee Tech and some others, but those are the more local ones, so that we can offer tuition assistance. Also, for our people who really want to make a change but have some barriers and challenges, we would like to offer child care assistance while they're in the midst of their job search, or maybe if they're newly employed and they haven't gotten their first paycheck yet, that would help with that as well. And then finally, career services assistance. So once we walk them through the modules around career readiness and workplace etiquette, once they're ready to engage in the workplace, they may need people to review their resumes that we've shown them how to write, or do mock interviews and all the things that come along with making sure that they're ready to present well to a prospective employer. And so this funding would allow us the opportunity to enhance our services in those regards.
Good morning, Board. Welcome back,
morning.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief ADA Phillips did a great job of outlining what the services are that we provide and how we want to enhance those services. We also have Jasmine Moore, who is here, who assists her in those efforts in our pretrial diversion programming, which is different from our accountability courts, which our judges run. Pretrial diversion is housed and solely operated by the District Attorney's Office. And we are extremely proud of the program that they have created and developed. As you heard, this is a congressional grant from Senator Warnock's office. And to be clear, we are not asking for a county match. To be clear, we just need the funds accepted. And to be clear, these funds have been earmarked specifically for the purpose of enhancing our pretrial diversion services. We also do not intend to fund any salaries with this money. It will only be for resources and program support, so we will not be coming back and asking you all to absorb grant salaries as we move forward. But we are working on a sustainability plan, because we do feel that this will be really great enhancement to what we're able to offer our participants in pretrial diversion. And ironically, I'm glad that Mr. LeBeau was here. He just walked out. Bad timing on my part. But we have been in touch with ARC already to discuss how we can collaborate. We do have this funding. Obviously, they offer phenomenal services. And so we're already in discussions not only on how we can collaborate with them and the services they have to offer, but what funding they have for our sustainability of the programmatics once they start. And then the last part I wanted to mention was we do have partners in the data realm and data research that we are hoping will track this progress once we have these service enhancements, to see what actual benefit it provides to our community, as well as, of course, Senator Warnock's office is very interested in seeing what success we have with this additional funding to these programmatics. So we are very excited about it, and just our ask of accepting these funds so that we can utilize them and truly enhance what we are doing for our pretrial diversion participants. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, do we have any questions for our district attorney? Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
I promise I will be brief. I just want to make sure that residents recognize that this is huge for our programming. The first thing that I will say is part of what victims want when they are looking for restoration is knowing that what happened to them is not going to happen to somebody else. Yes. And so a program like this, it definitely goes a long way into helping that happen. Child care assistance is a game changer for Douglas County, for our region, for anybody who comes into connection with this. A lot of times why people have recidivism issues is because they can't get a job because they didn't have child care, so they go and continue to commit the same petty crimes that they have committed before. So I applaud your office for paying attention specifically to that component as well. The only other question that I have is when you are talking about having people be prepared for interviews, will there be a component of this program where they can get wardrobe assistance? Because I know I have had criminal clients, people who, you know, they're ready, they want to go for these interviews, they have the resume, and then they don't show up because they have nothing to wear.
You see me looking back to my experts, and they have affirmed, yes, wardrobe assistance is part of the funding or part of the resources that we provide. And I want to also thank you for those comments, Commissioner. The reason that we came up with these 3 subsections was because we asked the participants. We did not presume to be an expert on their lives. We asked them, what do you need to be successful to get out of this system? And those were the top 3 indicators. by our participants. So I appreciate that the affirmation of what you see as well on the other side. And so we are excited about this.
Thank you.
Okay, you yield the floor back?
Yes, I
Okay,
yield,
thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Commissioner Raxton.
All
you
right,
have the
thank
floor.
you. Thank you. So a question and a comment. First, with the additional grants, just ideal, do you have an ideal of how many additional participants will be assisted?
Our deputy chief can speak to the number of participants we currently have. What we will likely do is try to do a model template to see with our current participants with the enhanced services how that works. Obviously, there's a logistics component to this that we want to work through so that we're able to determine, are we able to increase capacity, or does this funding provide adequate resources for our current participants?
Okay.
But again, they've done a phenomenal job, and she can give you those numbers of how many participants currently.
So currently, we're at about between 150 and 160 participants in pretrial diversion, so it's very robust. And our thinking is that we will start with enhanced service offerings for our current participants and then see if there's a way to scale upward and outward from that. But just based on the people that are currently in the program, these are the things that they've told us that they need to successfully complete, so we wanted to start there.
Okay, thank you. All right, then my comment was I appreciate the thoroughness and the in-depth information that was shared with the presentation. So I just want to recognize you and thank you for providing that to us. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Vice, you don't have anything? Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Clerk,
Thank
you
you.
have the
We'll
floor.
move, thank you. We'll move to our business items. Number 9, approval for the Douglas County Emergency Management Agency to enter into an agreement for the purchase of one Motorola N70 radio at a cost of $7,989.05 to be funded from the emergency management budget, and for the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. James Queen.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
morning.
This is for the purchase of a Motorola N70 radio. It has expanded our capabilities versus the current radios that we use here in the county. It also, outside of operating within the county, uses the LTE network that we have with AT&T FirstNet that would allow communication anywhere in the country via radio back to the county. This would allow for a much more quickly informed decision that could be made in the event that if I were not in the county at the time of an emergency, I would be able to have instant communication with all of the other aspects of the county to be able to make these decisions.
Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, any questions?
No, just a quick question.
Okay. Commissioner Braxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just curious, do we have any similar type of equipment now?
At this point, no. This will be the first one that we have here in the county.
Okay, and do we think that one will be adequate for the county?
Motorola is going to phase out the current radios that we have, and we will be forced to purchase these radios for the entire county at some point. I don't know what the timeline is on that at this moment. That would be Andy Peach, who is our radio administrator, would have those answers.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Any other questions? All right. Clerk,
Okay.
you have the floor.
Number 10, approval of an amendment to the 2024 contract with OnSolve LLC to add the ability to distribute IPAWS, which is Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, manages within Douglas County as needed based on emergencies and disasters at a cost of $800 per year, renewable annually, to be funded from the emergency management budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. James Queen.
This is a additional service that we have for our Code Red system here in Douglas County, where we do mass notifications through. The IPAWS system allows us to have a system where it's not just an opt-in. The IPAWS is what we get our weather alerts through, our wireless emergency alerts, all of those types of alerts come through. And it would allow us access to anyone with a cell phone within the county for certain emergencies. Working on getting the FEMA resources available to us for that. It's all through training that 911 is going through, as well as I've gone through and my specialists have gone through. This is just one aspect that we need to add on to the current system in order for us to be able to use these messages.
Thank you so much. Any questions, board? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 11, authorization to approve a contract with Elizabeth Baptist Church for use of its facilities for a polling place for precinct number 784, replacing Bright Star Methodist Church, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Milton Kidd.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and to the Commission as a whole, County Administration. My name is Milton Kidd, the Director of Elections and Registration. I am before you to ask the county to approve the agreement to move a precinct for the November 5th general election. The previous precinct has become insolvable, so we have to move voters in time for the November election to be housed in a new location. That is the agreement before you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mr. Kidd. Any questions, board? Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for point of record, that is my home church, Elizabeth Baptist Church, so I will be abstaining from that vote tomorrow, so I just wanted to go on record.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield the floor back to you.
Okay. Any other questions, board, or comments? All right.
While I have the time, I would like to encourage the citizens of Douglas County to check their voter registration. The state of Georgia has done numerous voter list maintenance in recent weeks, and individuals have either changed statuses or have been moved from the voting rolls. I would encourage everyone to check their status at My Voter Page Georgia and either update their registration or to get on the voter rolls. The voter registration deadline is October 7th for this upcoming season. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kidd.
Thank you. Number 12, authorization for Douglas County Sheriff's Office to renew an agreement with Control Concepts for the term of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, in the amount of $14,490 to be funded through the Sheriff's Office budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Lieutenant Colonel Pounds.
Good morning. Control Concepts is they manage and maintain our building automation system that controls our HVAC system. We've been with them since 2012. We tried different companies in the past, such as Johnson's Controls, but they aren't as cost efficient as these people are. They had the original contract and they reduced their pricing because the system runs well. And they come by instead of 12 times a year, only 6 times a year. But it is a reliable and trustworthy company.
Okay. Thank you. Board, any questions? All right. Clerk?
Okay. Number 13, authorization for Douglas County Sheriff's Office to renew an agreement with Syntec Fuel Master Fuel Management System Maintenance for the term of October 1, 2024 through September 30, 2025, in the amount of $1,175 to be funded through the Sheriff's Office budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Lieutenant Colonel Pounds.
This is an extended maintenance agreement for the system that the county uses to get fuel. The maintenance agreements covers parts and telephone support labor for all the fuel master components, both software and hardware. Also provides free updates for the software and firmware upon request. The Syntec also provides certificates of insurance at no extra cost.
Okay. Any questions, board? Okay.
Okay. And if it's okay with you, Chairman, I'll go ahead and insert the one that we added for the Sheriff's Department.
Yes, absolutely, please.
Okay, authorization for Douglas County Sheriff's Office to renew an agreement with Central Square Technologies, Zerker, in the amount of $69,895.50 to be funded through the Sheriff's Office budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Lieutenant Colonel.
Okay, Central Square has bought out Zerker. This is the second time it's been bought out. This is an ongoing maintenance contract for the software system that we use. It's used in the cars, dispatch, case management, property and evidence logging, agency records, jail management software, personnel. Douglasville Police uses this system, and so does 911. The company has been bought out a couple of times, as stated earlier. But at that time, it was at an understanding that we were had a site license. So now, Central Square reads that contract differently. So what needs to occur now is that we have to have a separate license for each mobile unit. So this was turned over to our current county attorney, and she said, although the contract is not clear, we have to honor it because if they make that request. So that's the reason for the price increase.
Okay, thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel. Any questions, board? All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to number 14, approval of an Atlantic Coast Consulting Task Order 2024-5 for the topographic survey on Cell 8 in the amount of $6,100 to be funded through the Landfills Department budget, mandated by state regulations, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Heath Cowart.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, Commissioners, County Administrator, and Madam ACA. Hey, staff, of course. I don't want to forget y'all. Make it happen over there. This is Atlanta Coast Atlanta Coast Consultant Services. They're our on-call engineering company at the landfill. And what this is it's a requirement from EPA to make sure each cell is at the proper depth, based by GPS coordinates, and we can't do it ourselves. It would be conflict of interest. Maybe we dig it a little deeper, and get some more life out of the landfill. So that's the whole reason behind it. We budgeted for it. It's it's in our budget, so it's really neutral on that point. I just need the permission so we can start putting trash in it, and we'll go up another 3 layers on that. So any questions?
Any questions for commissioners?
No.
Okay.
No, thank you.
question.
Okay. Number 15, approval of Douglas County Fire and EMS Department to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Safety Med for a community CPR and AED initiative at no cost to the county, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, County Administrator. The fire department is looking with Safety Med. Safety Med is a company that provides medical and fire safety equipment. We want to go into a MOU with them to provide CPR, AED initiative. That's actually doing CPR throughout the community with businesses and churches of that like. So we're looking at having this approved through the MOU.
Okay, thank you so much, our chief. Any questions, board?
I do have a question.
Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, Chief Allen, good morning.
Morning.
Just curious, as far as have we've identified the entities, the organizations, or where we will look to have those CPR classes? Has that come up? And if you can just kind of share what we can look forward to there.
So actually, we're doing we're doing research to find out what entities that we're going to initiate. Basically, we're looking at churches, large businesses, schools, to provide this. Basically, it's going to be hands-on CPR and AED training.
Okay. All right, so we're just working on and putting together the list there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that would be for, what's the period of time? The period of time, when would that start? And is that like for a year or just curious?
We're going to try to do it as long as we can continue to operate it with manpower, with support of that. But we're going to try to do it for about a year or so.
Okay.
To see how it goes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Any other questions? All right.
Okay. Number 16, authorization to purchase from Bennett Fire Products firefighter turnout gear in the amount of $1,300,000 for project F020 D1234 to be funded by the 2022 SPLOST, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
So for this initiative, we're in the time frame of our life cycle for our PPE, which is our firefighter bunker gear. Some firefighters need a second gear. Some new firefighters need initial gear. The life cycle on our gear right now is beginning to run out, so this is to replenish the old, replace the old with the new, and to add second gear for individuals that only have one set of gear.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, any questions? Okay.
I do, Madam Chair.
Vice Chairman, you have the floor.
Chief, what's the lead time on this gear? How long do you, if we say give you the go-ahead, how long do you can start receiving it?
A lot of times the lead time could be anywhere between 6 months and a year because of the amount of gear that we're asking for, and because of the industry, there's a lot of gear that gets purchased, so the lead time tends to get longer and longer the longer we wait.
Okay. And second, we know some of our fellow commissioners in rural parts of Georgia, you and I had this conversation, you know, they have volunteer firefighters and they have no budgets whatsoever and hardly any equipment. Is there any way that any of this equipment that we're not using anymore can be repurposed or sent to them?
Yes, as long as the gear is intact, even though the life cycle on the gear may have expired, as long as it's intact and it's in good condition, it still can be used for those volunteers. It could be used for training.
Okay, all right. I'll yield back, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Vice Chair. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Number 17, approval of landscape renovations at the Douglas County Courthouse property with alternative environments in the amount of $49,560 to be funded by the tree fund, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Stephanie Morgan.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is just a program that we would like to start with renovating some of the original shrubs and plants that we have throughout the courthouse landscaping. This would include just the front drives, the front of the courthouse, and the sides around the patio and down the drive along this truce side. So we're excited about it, and I want to thank Director Worthington for offering this tree fund as a option to go about doing this, because before we've not had any real funds in our operating budget to do this. So in the past, we've just had to remove trees and shrubs and mulch over. So we're excited about being able to do this if approved.
Okay, thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Morgan? Okay, no questions.
Okay. Number 18, approval to amend the budget for 5307 Urbanized Area Formula Grant and the 5339 Bus and Bus Facility Grant Funds for purchases of replacement vehicles that are at or near the end of their useful life in the amount of $1,159,275 with a local match of $289,818 for reimbursable grant funds to increase Connect Douglas's budget anticipations and appropriations, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Ron Roberts.
Morning, Madam Chair, Chairman,
Good morning.
Council, Councilman, staff. Took longer to read that thing than what this really is. So we are, as you know, we came in April, and we're using our capital funding, and we identified at that time a series of FTA sources for those capital replacement for those the buses. This is a cleanup item requested by finance to change the actual wording so that we can put into place and go ahead and move forward with those replacement buses. As I've mentioned before, it will take about 4 to 6 months. So even after approval now, we're talking about this being in fiscal year 25. So, but that's what this item is, and I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you so much, Director Roberts. Any questions, board? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 19, approval to award a contract to Pond and Company pursuant to RFP 24-013 in connection with South Douglas Loop Phase 1 Lee Road Extension Beaumont Road Improvements Project, project number 0019889, in the amount of $3,567,175.03 to be funded from SPLOST 2016 funds, with $2,853,740.02, which is 80%, to be reimbursed by Georgia Department of Transportation. Amend the budget and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Solomon Rana.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Board of
morning.
Commissioners, and County Administration. This is a federal aid project with $4 million of allocation from SPLOST 2016 program. The project proposes extending Lee Road from Fairburn Road to Bomar, and then terminating the project at Bomar at Pope Road intersection with a roundabout. This will be a 4-lane segment. The purpose of this roadway extension is to form a southern loop called the South Douglas Loop, and this will be classified as Phase 1. We were successful in securing federal funding through the support of Congressman Scott's office with an earmark of $5 million at the beginning of this year. With that, we performed the required procurement for this design. We received 8 responses, and the evaluation committee performed a 2-phased evaluations with a round of negotiations, and they recommend Pond and Company for this contract. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Rana. Any questions, Board of Commissioners? Director. All right.
Okay. Number 20, we have a slight correction in the amount of acreage on this. Authorization to accept 0.64 acres of right-of-way donation from Atlanta West Pentecostal Church with no impact to the budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
This is a church expansion at the intersection of Mount Vernon and Skyview Drive that went through the traditional DRC process, and upon review, they required additional right-of-way dedication to the county per roadway classification, and this donation comes to us at no cost and makes them compliant with the UDC requirements. And as County Clerk mentioned, the correction is to change the acreage from 0.4 to 0.64. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions, Board? Okay, Clerk.
Number 21, approval of a pole release agreement with Greystone Power Corporation to assume responsibility for as-is utility poles from the Lee Road widening project that were removed by Greystone with no cost to the county, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. As you're aware, Greystone had a significant presence on Lee Road corridor, and part of the project was relocating of power poles to a new location. They have completed that task, and the old half poles have been removed and are stored for relocation. They have offered the county to take those up at no cost, and those could be very useful for our maintenance operations. They do require this as-is agreement to hold them harmless if we use these poles. We are recommending your approval.
Thank you so much, Director. Any questions, Board? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Number 22, approval of a change order to be awarded to Lowe's Design for the Winston Park Renovation Design Project, adding geotechnical survey in the amount of $11,250, which was a requirement identified in the original proposal but not included in the initial contract, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Julia Janka.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, County Admin, ladies and gentlemen. This is a renovation project for Winston Park. It's part of an overall $5 million commitment to the county. And what this is Lowe's Design is doing a current redesign for the actual part, which the actual construction will go out to bid. What we need to do is 20 borings. They were originally included in the original contract for whatever reasons. I do not know the history, as we did not agree to keep that in as part of the original contract. So we're adding that in because we need to complete the borings in order to be able to finalize the designs. We're splitting the designs into 2 parts. The concession stand, which is currently being funded by ARPA for $750,000, that has to be encumbered by the end of the year, and the other part has to go out to bid for a separate overall design. So we're asking for the change order to be able to proceed.
Okay. Any questions, Board? Thank you. Any questions? Okay. No questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 23 is resolution authorizing the Board of Commissioners to cancel the work session and commission meetings scheduled for September 16th, 2024 and September 17th, 2024. Tiffany Stewart Stanley.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Jones, Board of Commissioners. So this is pretty self-explanatory. We are requesting to cancel the work session and the Board of Commissioner meetings for September 16th and 17th, due to we will have commissioners on county business traveling, and so we will not have the necessary quorum for the meeting. And so we're just asking for that meeting to be canceled.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, board? Okay, thank you so much.
That concludes the agenda items, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, do you have any comments or discussion? Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you back, and I know that we've already had a couple of people come and do that in a much more lovely way than I can, but I just wanted to say, thank you for your steadfastness, and I'm excited to be having the opportunity to work with you and Commissioner Mitchell, and so I just want to say welcome back, and I'm looking forward to learning from you. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. Commissioner Raxton, I saw you.
No, okay. Thank you.
There you go. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Along those same sentiments, I would just like to formally welcome you back. I look forward to working with you. Looking forward to the great things that we're going to progress in Douglas County. And as a resident of District 3, I'm looking forward to serving you as your district commissioner as well, and the great things that we're looking to do for our residents. So again, welcome back, and also looking forward to working with Commissioner Mitchell as well.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Vice Chairman Alcarez, you have the floor.
Well, you and I had a long conversation yesterday, and as I stated before, it is glad to be working back with you again. And I appreciate our hour-long meeting yesterday, and prayers for you and your family going forward. And God has brought you through this,
Amen.
and God is going to bring this board forward.
Amen.
And we are, and we have been. I'm proud of our commissioners during this time, because together we have changed, and we are moving this county forward together in a positive direction. I know some may not see it, but we up here feel it. And I appreciate not only you, but I'm excited about Commissioner Mitchell being back,
Yes.
but I'm also thankful for this entire board. And I yield back, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioners. My heart is warmed by just the wonderful comments that you made. So thank you. I'm blushing. All right. With that being said, Attorney Wiggins, do we need to go into executive session? Okay.
For the purposes of legal litigation, personnel, real estate.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. Please indicate by raising your right hand if you agree to go. We have a 4-0 vote, and the motion carries to go into executive session. With that being said, certainly this is a time, I guess, where we...
I'm
Lisa,
sorry.
I just want to make sure at this time, because we're going into executive session, that means that the citizens leave at this time.
We will go upstairs.
Oh, we'll go upstairs.
And we can
Okay.
you can actually adjourn the meeting and move into executive
Okay,
session.
thank you. I didn't want to just put our citizens out. I love them. So with that being said, if there's nothing else to come before this board this time, our meeting is adjourned, and Board of Commissioners, we will go upstairs for our work session. Is that correct? I'm looking at my attorney.
You gotta take a motion for adjournment.
Perfect.
I did a motion, yes. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you, citizens of Douglas County, for being here today.